This is, I think, the first full week we've had a break from Erica Kirk since all this went down. And I want to be honest with you, it's felt quite nice. Not nice like everything's okay now nice. Not like fascism has been defeated, but it's been nice in a way that, you know, it feels like when a smoke alarm finally stops chirping at 3 a.m. The world is still very much on fire, but at least one very specific fire noise has paused. And in that pause, you can almost hear yourself think again, which unfortunately means noticing things. Because when the constant outrage cycle slows even just a little, patterns start to emerge. And one of those patterns leads us directly to a man you probably haven't been thinking much about, but absolutely should. His name is Austin Smith. He is a former Arizona Republican state legislator. A leader inside none other than Turning Point Action, a man who built his political identity around the idea that American elections are fragile, corrupt, and under constant threat. He is also a man who just pleaded guilty to forging more than 100 signatures on his own election petitions, including the signature of a deceased woman. Yes, that guy. And real quick, I'm Loren Piretra. Please take a moment to subscribe, share this video with a friend, hit that notifications bell, and actually please turn notifications on because I currently have a lead against Katie Miller, who is the wife of Stephen Little Bitch Miller, the architect of so much of this terror. He is a white nationalist from Santa Monica, a potbelly Dracula, and we cannot allow voices like that to drown out the correct ones. So the only way this works is if we choose each other. So hit subscribe. We are in this together. Let's act like it.
Well,
okay.
Former Arizona Republican lawmaker is sentenced for forging signatures on his nominating petition. Austin Smith got probation. 30-year-old also banned from running for office for 5 years. Back in November, the one-term District 29 representative pled guilty to attempted fraudulent schemes and practices and illegal signing of petitions. He admitted to using them with forged signatures, including one that belonged to a dead lady.
Okay, now back to it. So all of this absurdity, to understand why the Austin Smith story matters, you have to understand Turning Point USA, because no one like Smith exists in a vacuum. Turning Point USA is a Phoenix-based far-right organization that brands itself as a youth movement. Some may even call it a megachurch, though it functions more accurately as a grievance distribution center with a whole lot of merch. It was founded by Charlie Kirk, and it spent years telling conservatives that they were victims of a rigged system by universities, by journalists, by demographic change, and especially by elections themselves. Turns this suspicion into ideology, ideology into content, and content into cash that enriches the lives of a bunch of incels. Democracy in this framework is not a shared civic project. It's the same. The system is broken. The left is cheating you. Diversity is bad. And you, specifically you, are the last person standing between America and collapse.
Turned Arizona from a Team Biden problem to the largest Trump margin of victory of all battleground states. 160,000 vote victory.
Austin Smith was not some random guy who walked into this ecosystem. He was a sitting Republican legislator from, surprise, Arizona, and a member of the Arizona Freedom Caucus. And at the same time of his indictment, he was the strategic director of Turning Point Action, the organization's advocacy arm. This is somebody inside the machine, not somebody shouting at it from the outside, not somebody who's adjacent to it. Smith spent years warning about election fraud loudly, earnestly, and with the full confidence of the mediocre man who believes democracy is being stolen right from underneath him. He pushed for stricter election laws. He accused state officials of incompetence and corruption. He cast himself as a guardian of the process, a defender of integrity. And then, in March of 2024, he forged more than 100 signatures on his own nomination petitions to get the Republican primary ballot. I'm not making metaphors here. He literally, in his same handwriting, dumb as dog shit, same pen, same rhythm, including the signature of a woman who is very much already dead, which feels like some sort of very Charlie Kirk moment if you're following me. And when the allegations became public, Smith called them ludicrous. He said Democrats were coordinating an attack against him. He took no responsibility. He expressed no doubt The confidence of a mediocre white man lying needs to be studied. He insisted this was all nonsense. And in a way, he was right. It was all nonsense, just not the kind that absolves you of your own dumb fucking shit. Because when the evidence surfaced, surprise, it was painfully obvious. Over 100 signatures all appeared to be written by the same person.
Austin Smith was known for questioning the results of the 2020 election and was considered a rising star in Republican politics. But now he's in for a tough legal fight after a grand jury found that there was enough evidence to charge him with election fraud.
Austin Smith was elected to the state house back in 2022, but his political career appeared to come to a screeching halt last year after an attorney accused him of forging his election paperwork. The suit alleged that 100 of the more than 800 voter signatures he needed to secure a spot on the ballot bore a striking resemblance to Smith's handwriting.
I think times are different than they were back in 2020. I think most juries are not tolerant of election fraud in any way, shape, or form.
Ashley Adams is a local defense attorney. She said the most serious count Smith faces is a Class 5 felony for falsifying signatures. The charge carries a maximum penalty of 2.5 years in prison.
But do I think this is the type of offense that, the state would seek prison for? I don't think so. If this is a first offense, now the state may decide they want to make an example out of Mr. Smith.
Smith did not return calls for comment, but last year he posted a statement on X saying the accusations against him seemed ludicrous.
Excitement and energy and enthusiasm.
Smith served in pivotal roles during last year's elections. He was the national field director for Students for Trump. And he also had a prominent job with Turning Point Action, a grassroots group focused on younger voters.
And Smith was also recently appointed to the advisory team of the Young Arizona Republican Federation.
Voters who testified that they never signed this petition, handwriting so uniform it could have been submitted as a branding guide. Eventually, Smith did what so many people do when denial stops working. He pleaded guilty. This week, Smith admitted in court, a court of law, that he forged signatures and attempted to deceive the Arizona Secretary of State's office. The same office his political movement has spent years accusing of rigging elections. Funny how that works out. He pleaded guilty to reduced charges. And under Arizona law, if he completes probation without any more violations or fake signatures, his felony conviction could be downgraded to a misdemeanor. A kind of conditional erasure. Behavior and this might not fully count when you're a mediocre white man working for Charlie Kirk's organization. That distinction matters because felons in Arizona cannot vote or hold public office unless their rights are restored. So the system gently and politely offers him a possible escape hatch. It's not exactly justice. It's not either accountability in the way regular people would understand accountability. Smith will likely receive probation, a fine, and a 5-year ban on running for office. Though even that ban could be adjusted by a judge. He dropped out of the re-election race and briefly resigned from Turning Point Action when the allegations surfaced. And I mean briefly. According to his own online presence, he may have been rehired months later only to scrub his social media when the indictment went public. LinkedIn gone, X account locked, a digital disappearing act rooted in deeply modern beliefs that if no one can scroll it, maybe it didn't even happen. What makes this story more than ironic is that what it reveals about power, the people most loudly insisting elections are fraudulent, are often the ones willing to commit actual fraud when the system inconveniences them. If elections were truly rigged at scale, there would be no need to forge signatures by hand with the same hand. You wouldn't need to cheat personally if the machine was already cheating for you. Which tells us something. It tells us something very uncomfortable, but it's an important thing to talk about. This isn't about hypocrisy in a one single act. He was projecting. He was projecting about a worldwide view where rules are sacred only when they protect outcomes you don't like and disposable when they don't. Democracy in this framework is not a principle, and trust is something to be exploited. And definitely not earned. Stories like this don't dominate headlines because they lack spectacle. There's no riot footage. There's no toad in a costume. There's no dramatic music, people swinging in the backgrounds. It's just paperwork, pens, and a mediocre white man who thought he wouldn't get caught. But this is what the real erosion of democracy looks like most of the time. It's not as chaotic as you would think. It's not protests. It's this quiet BS delivered with the confidence of a mediocre white man, counting on you to be exhausted enough to look away or to believe him. So here's where I'll end. If you're still here and listening, do me a favor, subscribe. Share this video with at least somebody in your world, somebody you trust. Turn notifications on and stay engaged, because I'm actively tracking people like Katie Miller and the network around Stephen Little Bitch Miller. And the only way this works, the only way we stop letting those voices dominate this conversation, is by choosing to amplify the correct ones. So we're not going to outspend them. We're not going to out-algorithm them overnight, but we can outlast them. And that starts by paying attention, especially when the room gets quiet and the pen is already in somebody else's hand. So again, I'm Loren Piretra. I'm Loren P across all social platforms. And let's hope for less Erica Kirk in the future.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.